Hey, what's up, Facebook Live? Let's talk. I'm excited. I just finished doing a Periscope talking about the importance of making sure that you have the right team working on your brand. One thing that I have run across a lot is people who are very, very sweet, but you're dealing with a sour process and a sour team to get to them. So what I want, hey, welcome. What I want you to do this weekend is to really write down or put in place a system of how your team should interact with others. I think a lot of people forget that team building, that your back end is extremely important and extremely crucial when it comes to your building your business and your success and representing your brand. Your team, whoever is representing you or responding on your behalf, should definitely be a people person. They should definitely have a certain level of humility and accuracy. They also should be, in terms of your team members, whoever's representing you, make sure that they're representing you well. I've run across individuals who I have a strong relationship with, but because of their team, it'll turn me completely off. And I'd rather not even deal with them because I don't feel like dealing with their team. And it gets very frustrating and upsetting. So you want to make sure, even take the time out this weekend to put together a process to make sure that your team is responding the way that you want them to respond on your behalf. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I run across several opportunities, and when it's time to begin to start referring people, it gets a little scary because I don't want other people to have to encounter team members that are sour. You're sweet, but your team members are sour. Your representation is sour. Your assistant is sour. Your agent is sour. You want to make sure that the people who are working and representing your brand is doing it based on your brand has a personality. And if the people who are representing your brand's personality stinks, that's a problem. Now, I've run across several people that I'm like, you know what, I want to contract them. I want to hire them. But then when you get these emails that are so nasty and so just like, are you serious? You're supporting this great person and this is how you're responding to opportunities. So you want to make sure that whoever's supporting you, whoever is representing you, is not blocking your blessings. They're not blocking your opportunities unconsciously. I'm not saying that you may have team members who are haters. I'm just saying you may have people who are working with you on your team who are not great representation, is not a great representation of what you bring to the table. And it'll turn someone completely off. And so for me, with this particular situation, and there's several of them, I'm like, are you serious? This is the process of working with this person. I have to go through this with you. And it's one thing with being a gatekeeper and protecting the brand and the person that you're supporting and working for. But it's another thing when you are extremely emotional, impatient, and just coming straight, like I'll say, politically incorrect. In terms of responding to people, you never know who knows somebody. You never know who's trying to reach out to someone on their behalf. So it may, for example, with this situation, they may say, oh, well, this is Lucinda. This is not, a Steve Harvey, so to speak. But should I be treated any different in communication? Should my team be treated any different in communication than what you would do with a Steve Harvey's assistant when they reach out, or with the Oprah's assistant when they reach out? Absolutely not. I want to make sure, and the one thing that I make sure in terms of activate on my back end is to make sure that we have not only the personality, but we know how to deal with people. And those, we were talking on Periscope. One thing that Nye brought to the table, and Nye, she was my personal assistant. Now we're working on some amazing other projects that is going to blow my brand out the water. But one thing that Nye, my assistant, brought to the table was Not only was she on point, but she was pleasant. She was humble. She brought that Southern personality, and she knows her stuff. She's well educated, well informed, right? But she understood the brand personality. She understood who I was. So where I may receive an email and I may be like, what the? No, they didn't. She would receive the email without me even knowing and know how to respond to it in such a pleasant way, in a pleasant manner. And she was on point. And so what she did was she trained my business manager now, Shayna, shout out to the Spellman girls, who is also a pleasant personality. And so if you know, you got to check the back end of your team. Your team may be stinking. I'm telling you. Some of y'all really need to go back and check your team and be like, how are you responding to people? What are you saying when people call up? What is your email response when you respond to emails? And if you don't have that in place, put that in place right now. Put that in place right now. When somebody calls me, this is how you respond. When somebody emails, this is how you respond. When somebody wants to hire me, contract me, book me, this is how you respond. When somebody want to consult with me, this is how you respond. Because if not, there's some people out there right now who have these major brands, but their back end is so sour and stinking that it's like, my goodness, I feel bad for the next person who tries to communicate. So for me, I want to respond to every opportunity as if it was Oprah's assistant reaching out. You know, your people reach my people kind of thing. I want to respond to every opportunity, every email, as if it was from somebody who was a high influence. So my thing is, don't treat my team any different than you would treat Steve Harvey, Oprah Winfrey, Ian Levanzat, TD Jakes. Because the one thing the reason why they're where they are now is I truly believe that you are as good as your team. You're as good as your last message. You're as good as your last client. You're as good as the last job that you performed. You're as good as you are from your, so you have to constantly continue to up level. And that means making sure that your team is ready for your growth. So some of us are not growing in our business and not growing and going to the places where our brand needs to go because our back end is so sour that why would God want to put that in front of somebody else? So for me, I'm like, okay, this is the response that we get when I'm offering an opportunity. You don't know how much money I have. You don't know. You don't know what I have to offer. You don't know who I know who knows somebody. You don't know. You never know who somebody else knows. So what it's about, exactly, clean house. Some of us just need to straight up clean house because your back end is stinking. The house is all jacked up and you don't even know it because you're doing what you love. You're showing up. But on the back end, it's looking real crazy. It's looking straight crazy. There's some skeletons in the closet. There's some dead bodies laying around. There's some people who are just straight out of orbit, straight out of order when it comes to your brand. And if you know that you worked hard to get you where you are right now, you make sure that your back end is representing that because you don't want to fall down because you don't understand what your team is doing, saying, reacting on the back end. Some emails, if I begin to start screenshotting some stuff that I get, right? Or most of the time, my girl Robin, Shayna, Nye, they'll block certain things, right, from me. And thank God, right? That's what they're supposed to do. But I know that they're handling it professionally and understanding that they're dealing with people, which means that you have to make sure that you're carrying them, holding people like you're holding an egg, like you're holding, like I said, a crystal chandelier on a periscope. Last year, I was approached by a couple of people and they said, you know what? I encountered a few things, but I knew that wasn't a representation of your brand. And I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. Not only did you recognize it, but I recognized it. And guess what? They're no longer here. I don't tolerate that because I worked hard to get where I'm at. Nobody said, hey, Lucinda, I had to work hard for this. I had to work hard for every time I had to pay my assistant. I had to work hard and make sacrifices just for my brand. I had to work hard to even understand that I believe in myself. And so treatment treatment is so important. Make sure that it's just not sweet on the front and sour on the back. Make sure that it's not sweet on the outside, right? Sweet on the outside is, you know what, I love so-and-so. Sour on the inside, like, oh my God, I didn't know I had to deal with all of that to get with this one, or deal with all of that to deal with him, right? And so what I'm saying today is that if you've either encountered a bad experience with someone, don't hold it against them, which is hard because you got to check your team. Just like you got to check your team. You got to make sure everybody's operating the way they need to operate, or people got to go. You got to go. If you're not representing what I've created and what I've built and what, you know, God has blessed me with, then that means that this is not for you. It's not for you. I was watching, you know, that boss show where they do behind the scenes, the Undercover Boss. I love that show. I watch Undercover Boss all the time. And this guy, he had this fitness, and I'm going to be real brief with this. He had this fitness company, and he went behind the scenes. So when he went to one of his fitness offices, the girl behind the counter was just so beyond ratchet that she did not represent the brand well at all. She was cursing behind the counter. Hey, what's up? She was cursing behind the counter. She was doing things her way. She was just a complete misrepresentation of what this man has built, the empire he's created. So here's the thing. We are working on the ground up. Before we get to the empire and then have to worry about the empire being broken down because we're not monitoring and we're not checking in and we're not doing undercover boss, so to speak, which means that you go back, you check your policies and procedures, you make sure you have an operational manual in place. What does that look like? So what does that look like, Lucinda? Operational manual. I'm a small business. I have one person working with me. I have a few interns. That looks like you putting together a simple Google Doc that you share with everybody who's in that you're dealing with, and say, when I get an email, this is how you respond. When I don't accept a gig or a client, this is how you respond. If they wish to talk, make sure that you cover these points. If if it's a financial issue, this is how you respond, because financial issues is very touchy. People can become very offended with that. If it's a corporation. So my thing is, whether I'm dealing with someone who's putting on a small event, or I'm dealing with someone like a chamber of commerce who has a large event, I want the same treatment. And that's how you want your business to run. You want it to run as if you are one of the sharks. You don't want to run like, you don't want them to say, well, I know you're just starting your business, you're just building your team, so I let that. There's no passes this time. We don't have time for passes and no, this is how it's got to be done, because I'm building an empire. And if you want to go with me, this is how things have to happen. And you got to do check-ins. I'll do check-ins. I'll go back to my clients like, hey, how was the booking process? Was it pleasant? How was working with me? Did you get everything that you needed taken care of in a timely manner? I'll go back, because that's my job. You cut the check to me. I'm paying my people. So what I'm saying, and my whole frustration, and I hope that you learn from this, is that don't treat people according to the level that you think they're at. Treat them to the level where you want to go. Don't treat people to the level where you think they're at. Treat them to where you want to go. So there's no such thing as, so I'm talking to Lucinda, this is a small gig. This may not be as big as talking to the NFL or whatever. No, you treat the opportunities great, and you teach your team to treat them the same way too. Yeah, because you don't want your blessings to be blocked. So here's the thing. You say, God, I need you to help me build a team to build a dream. Let's say it together. I don't care if you're in the office. So what? God, I need you to help me build a team to build the dream. And that right there seals the deal. Help me build a team that builds the dream. And when you are dealing with individuals, you go back. If you don't have these things in place, say, you know what? Under new management, we're about to operate completely different, because some of us are running a small business as a hobby. We're not being professional about it. I need you to run your small business as if you are ready for an investor to cut a check tomorrow. I need you to run your small business like it's a big business. Like you could stand right there next to Mark Zuckerberg. Like what? Who? Oh, okay. Because all it is just ideas maturing. And you never know when your idea is going to mature. Just like stocks, just like investments. You never know when your time is to come. And so your team plays an extremely important piece of your growth puzzle. I believe that for me. And if that's the same case with you and you've had some bad encounters before, make sure your back end is tight. Like I said, there's some sweet people out there that I love and I adore. And I mean, I may even go into my savings to get a chance to work with them. But because of their team, I'm going to keep my coins in here, in my purse. And that's it. Like, and it's like, oh, well, who are you? You don't even know. You don't know who I'm connected to. You don't know. Some people I just meet that I know is not a connection for me. It's a connection for somebody else. So you never take an opportunity light. There's people that I meet that is not even for me. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I'm sitting down with so-and-so, but it's not about me, because it may be about my sister who's about to start her show. It may be about my brother who's about to release his movie. So you never know. You never know. You never look down upon a situation or opportunity because of you, where you think that they are. I'm going to close out with that. You don't look at it where they are, and you tell your team the same thing. It's not where they are. It's not the fact that they only have 50 people showing up. It's not the fact that they don't, you treat that 50 people. You don't know those 50 people could be straight executives. Like, come on. I've been to some events. I did something in an insurance company, and it's just like, there was like, well, it's going to be 30 people there. All right. So, I get there. All 30 of them own a franchise. So what's the difference? So I could go talk in front of 300 people who buy 20 books, or I could go talk in front of 30 insurance agents who are franchise owners. Come on, somebody. So, but the process behind the scenes is for my team to understand that every interaction is important. And yeah, you may get your BS ones, but come on. It's about your team. So we all need to grow, and I want you to grow. But I believe in order for some of us to move forward, we got to check our team. Some people out there, your team is stinking. I'm going to say it right now. Now, I finished my session because I wanted to teach my activators. But for those, and listen, your team stinks. I'm just going to say it. Your team stink. It wasn't pleasant working with them. I doubt if I'll even consider working again. Like, listen, there won't be any more communication. I rescind everything, period, because I refuse to put my team through that process. And when I train them and they're already in a position to be pleasant and humble and willing to work with individuals, and you ain't got your stuff tight. I'm not gonna mix that. We're not gonna mix the weeds with the roses. Now, I work too hard for my garden to look the way that it looks, and we still growing. So, I'm telling you right now, your team is funky. It's funky. It stinks. It's bad. Not even you just stopped a couple of opportunities because of that. Not because of me, but because of that. And I doubt if I'm the only one that encountered that. All right, that's it. I'm done. Yeah, she said I had so many bad experiences with people blowing me off. No idea who I'm connected to. It has to stop. It does. It has to stop. And at some point we just gotta, do we be lenient? Is there, I call my girl Robin Grace. I call her Grace because Robin is like full of grace. Like I have like low tolerance. Like people say, oh my God, Lucinda's so sweet. She's so real. And that is me. But I have like low tolerance. That's why my team members are they are sweet as apple pie. Yes. With the extra sugar on top. But one thing I will refuse to deal with is people who just don't know how to treat people. I love people. I'm in the people business. I gotta understand you. So it's about leaving the emotions behind, because we gotta get rich. We gotta get rich. Stop blocking our blessings. Your people may be blocking your blessings. Yes, June Archer, your people may be. And June Archer, it was a pleasant working with you. I can't wait, homie. I can't wait till September. It's going down in the DM. So if y'all not connected to June Archer, make sure y'all tag him. He's got a lot going on, a wonderful podcast. Exactly. Thanks, Shakina. I appreciate you. So I hope to see all of y'all in September. But what I will continue to do is just share my own experiences. If I could shortcut your process through my frustrations, by all means, I'll be a demonstration of it. Absolutely. So I went through it. It's done. I said my piece. Those, y'all know, your team stinks. Didn't have a good experience. Didn't have one. Not at all. Wasn't nice. And if you had a bad experience with my team, hit me up. Yo, Lucinda, this was not a representation of how I know who you are. Let me know so we can address it. I'm trying to grow. You want to grow too. Yes. And if, that's it. And sometimes we may just need to let them, you know what? I rescind the offer. It wasn't pleasant even beginning the process. I'm sorry. Thank you for your time. Because we want to stop them from just allowing them to check it. I could go on and on. I could go on and on. Because I love you. I love teaching. Teaching, that's my nature. But, yeah. You like that too, Cassandra? Yeah. So, it's all a work in progress. It's all a work in progress. But, I appreciate y'all. And, I'll check y'all out soon. Yes, God help me build the team to build the dream. God help me build the team to build the dream. God help me build the team to build the dream. It's better to have one dream team member than a whole team of screw ups. It's better to have one tight screw than a whole bag of screw ups. Yes, get rid of the stinky leg. Get the stinky leg out of your team. Yes, get it out. Get it out. Get in formation, period. Prove to me you got some coordination. Bye, y'all.